There's evidently considerable unease and quite a bit of outright opposition in the Commons on both sides on the question of intervention in Syria. And outside, in the streets, so to speak, the Stop the War coalition, which organised demonstrations in Iraq and Afghanistan, among other things, is promising public displays of opposition. Its convener is Lindsey, who's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, clearly, I suppose from your perspective, you must be pleased that what happened last night was that the United Nations was brought into the equation.
Well, I'm pleased that the decision has been delayed, but I hope very much that this will mean that next week the British Parliament does take a decision not to attack Syria, because I think this will be something which will be of very serious consequence around the world.
Do you think that there is ever a moral case for military intervention?
Well, there may be. If you look historically, there may be cases for that, but I don't think that there has been over the last 12 years. And I think that if you look at all the interventions, the honest truth is that every single one of them has led to more deaths and more refugees and all the terrible things that we're seeing in Syria today. And what we fear is this is going to be the same with Syria.
I mean, do you think, for example, that the humanitarian intervention in Kosovo was worth it?
Well, I don't personally. I opposed it at the time. It led to a great deal of bombing. And actually, if you look at Kosovo today, it's one of the poorest regions of Europe. It has terrible problems of gun running, of prostitution, of corruption, of all these things. So I don't think we can honestly say that we're building secure and safe states anywhere. And I think if you look at the Middle East, this is even more the case. If you look at Iraq, if you look at Libya, and if you're looking today at anything we might do in Syria.
So you would say, from your personal perspective, that there would never be, under any circumstances, a case for intervention in Syria?
Well, I don't see that there is. I think it has to be something that the Syrian people themselves decide. And if you actually look at the net consequence of all of them, we've seen a worse situation in all the countries where there has been intervention. And that's because bombing and military action isn't the way to bring about change in these countries. And I think that's becoming more and more clear to more and more people, which is why the opposition is so wide now over this question.
I mean, the difficulty with Syria, of course, is that you say people have got to decide what they want to do inside their own country. Well, 2 million of Syrians have had to leave. They're refugees. Assad has got no interest in attending any kind of peace conference, peace conversations, in engaging with those who oppose him. There is no process.
Well, the truth is that the G8 did decide earlier this year that there would be a peace conference, and actually the people who are preventing that from happening are the British and the Americans, who don't want Assad to take part. Now, the truth is, all these things, nearly every war ends in a political solution. It ends in negotiation. This is what's happening now with Afghanistan. And the honest truth is that this is what's going to happen with Syria. People don't like it. Obviously, people are on different sides. Obviously, many people are suffering. But we should remember, when we talk about refugees, the UN figure for refugees in Iraq was 4 million. After the war and occupation. So the idea that somehow airstrikes which happen in the next week or so are somehow going to alleviate this problem just simply isn't true.
Lindsey from Stop the War Coalition, thank you very much.
Thank you.